Sunday night.
Rehashed and re-rehashed. And the verdict is in. The Bears offense is officially in a rut. In fact, the last time John Shoop's troops lit up a scoreboard, they were facing these very same Bucks. The remedy is simple. The coordinator calls a balanced, aggressive game, and the players execute the plan. Ready, break. Expect the entire offense to pick up their play. As for the Bucks, they are no longer a run-first team. In fact, they are next to last in the league, averaging just 80 yards per game on the ground. The 1-2 punch of Allstott and Dunn has been replaced by Johnson to Johnson. Brad and Keyshawn have hooked up a league-high 93 times for over 1,000 yards, but only one score. Folks, if you're looking for a shootout, the Rams and Saints play later. Slight edge Bucks. The defensive battles should be much more interesting. Despite allowing a 100-yard rusher for the first time in 21 games, the Bears D did hold Brett Favre to just 17 points. In fact, this Bears group is yielding less than 15 points per Sunday, yet they still aren't satisfied with their effort, and that's what makes them good. Today, they must pressure the immobile Brad Johnson and force him into mistakes. The Bucks D has also performed well, picking up the tempo of late. Warren Sapp and Simeon Rice have both sacked 6 quarterbacks, while Rondé Barber and Donnie Abraham have combined for 10 interceptions. Obviously, the two are interrelated. And here's a memo for Bears backs and receivers. Know where John Lynch is at all times. If there is any justice at all, we will have as many Pro Bowlers as they do. Slight edge Bears. A guy a lot more now that he's just 18 of 24 on the season with a couple of last-second whiffs. I'll stick with Brad Maynard and Paul Edinger. Thank you very much. Advantage Bears. Today's key matchup is the same as last week's key matchup. Marty Booker and David Terrell must get the best of Donnie Abraham and Rondé Barber. Yes, it's a tall order, but I say it again, if the Bears can't throw the ball successfully, they won't win. For those of you scoring at home, you may be able to keep track of this one manually without taking off your shoes. But as John Shoop told us last week, the object is to score just one more point than your opponent. I, for one, would be a bit happier with a 50-point explosion, but a win in any form would be just fine. With a W today, the Bears clinch a spot in the postseason for the first time since 1994. An L brings the Bucks back into the playoff picture and doubt back into the Bears locker room. I'm taking what's behind door number 1, regardless of the game time temperature. In a squeaker, Bears 17, Bucks 16.
Back on the reservation.
By the way, I was joking. Obviously, Gary doesn't have a gambling problem. Many problems, gambling is not one of them.
Who writes for you now? Saturday Night Live working for you or something? What are you doing? Unbelievable.
Stop it.
Let's talk about the Bears' anemic passing attack. They haven't scored via the air since the Tampa Bay game a month ago. What's going on?
And Tampa Bay is going to look at the film and obviously say, we have to stop Marty Booker. So if the Bears are not only...
For the first time in 7 years, the Cinderella Bears have joined the playoff party. Who's next? In Motown, did Boss and the Bikes allow the unthinkable? Can the Jets change their December losing ways and keep postseason hopes alive? Did Brady's bunch fall victim to the 2-10 Bills? How will the Broncos fare with Perrott at the helm? Battle of 9 and 3. Would the Niners go fishing in the Bay? Will the Pack continue their playoff push in the Music City? Can the Skins sweep the Eagles in the NFC East? We always pick up after our show on NFL Primetime. Next.
NFL Primetime is presented by Miller Lite. Primetime is Miller time. And now, here's your host, Chris Berman.
Hello once again, everybody. Welcome to Week 14 of NFL Primetime. Hope you're getting your shopping done. Certainly some NFL teams. Tom Jackson going... Hello, Thomas.
Hello, boom.
Going shopping for some playoff berths. Not a lot decided. Oakland on Saturday, maybe a little bit more on a Sunday. And
I like the jockeying for position that we're seeing, especially at the upper levels of some of these divisions.
And at the lower levels, and I mean the lowest level.
Yes.
You know, you can't root for zeros to continue in the win column. Only 5 teams since the merger have started as bad as 0-12. The Detroit Lions, with new general manager and president Matt Millen being one of them. The Lions on this day had a chance at home against Minnesota, and through the weeks, Millen just hoping and in anguish because the last 7, 8, 9 games, Detroit has had a chance to pretty much win any one, if not 2 or 3 of these ball games. But the losses have piled up. Would this be the day at home against Minnesota, who hadn't won on the road all year themselves? Marty Morningweg wondering if there's a win in those cards. Mike McMahon from Rutgers did an excellent job throwing. This is Scotty Anderson, 69 yards down to the 1. And you got to like McMahon seeing, Tommy, that it was a free play. Let's go for it. And he did it with his arm and legs today. McMahon accounting combined throwing and running for 316 yards. 14-7 Detroit. They lead at 20-10. Todd Bauman from
St. Cloud State.
Also ranked number 1 in yard carry. Bauman so good last week for Minnesota, playing again in place of the injured Dante Culpepper. Bada. Now Bauman to Randy Moss. A pretty throw of 66 yards. It was very, well, it was out of the screen, very Blake-like, wasn't it?
Yes.
And then, now this is Randy Moss-like.
Well, and what a show Randy put on, especially near the sideline. Some impossible grabs. Here, the great juggling catch. Catches it, stays in bound. Great concentration by Randy.
So 3rd and 9. Remember, Detroit has a lead. They've had leads in so many of these games in the 3rd and the 4th. That's gone by. Don't tell me with Moss with the circus catch that Detroit is going to have another come-from-ahead loss. Please don't say it's true. 24-20 Minnesota. And in the waning moments of the 3rd, McMahon across to David Sloan. First down, 27 yards. Same drive. Now we move early 4th. This is McMahon playing with some poise. The Johnny's Morton on the cross. 2 on the same drive. McMahon. Design run. And boy, is it designed well for 22 yards. Here comes Detroit. 3rd and 3 at the 6. McMahon. Does he have in his hand the final envelope for the great Karnak? He was so good at handing it to Johnny, wasn't it? Stuffed at the tube, and Corey Schlesinger slashes his way into the end zone. 27-24 Detroit. But they've seen it happen so many times. Certainly, with seconds to go on the final play, Bauman and the Vikings couldn't pull it out. They don't! Let the party begin in the Motor City in Matt Millen's box. On the field with Marty Morningweg. Way to go, guys. They get the dousing. And a sight not seen all year, Detroit kneeling. And a helmet toss by Johnny Morton, second only to Alex Karras after Dempsey's field goal. Longest helmet toss in Lions history. They are off the schneid. Detroit has finally won it. They win it 27-24. Oh, my goodness, they've been close. And as Johnny Morton said, we salted one away. We've been long overdue.
I don't want that damn monkey off my back, off Marty's back. I want Jay Leno to kiss my ass.
Is this a tremendous sense of relief for you?
I can't. This is the best moment I've had in football. That's dedicated to all the fans who, when I'm out walking around shopping, whatever, every single fan in Detroit is telling us that they're supporting us, they're pulling for us, and they appreciate what we're doing. That's for them. Backing us up all year. That's for the fans of Detroit.
Well, I mentioned Carson and McMahon. He mentioned State Leno. Obviously, it's tonight. Hey, look, nobody wants to see this go on and on. And Detroit, look, they stayed with it, Tommy. Most teams losing that many close games with a 0 in the win column and saying, you know what, forget it.
Well, I think that's a tribute to Coach Morningweg and certainly Matt Millen, a team that has played hard. And we have said for weeks now that this is the best 0 for whatever they were, 11 or 12 team that we had seen close to winning each and every game. And if you look at the way they won this game, McMahon, a quarterback who has stepped in, played well, used his athleticism. They ran the ball awfully well today. McMahon didn't make a mistake, didn't throw an INT today. And you can see how pleased. And I in that linebacker fraternity of ours, it's nice to see him get the win, and I have the feeling with parity the way it is, they are not that far away.
Well, they got a couple more home games.
Yes.
They can win a couple more. You know, many people will say this, Tommy. If Minnesota played as hard as Detroit has the last month, they would still be a playoff hunt. Minnesota is, what, 0-6 on the road, which is not impressive. But now, as the 72 Dolphins wait every year for the final team to lose, we talked about the 76 Bucks, right? The only team that went 0-14.
Hard to do, other end of the spectrum.
Leroy Selman and the guys, 76 Bucks. Hey, pop the champagne. We're still The only team that made it through without a win at all. Detroit is off the schneid. Meanwhile, a wild scene in Cleveland, and here we go with Jacksonville at the Cleveland Browns. Now, earlier this year, this is why Jacksonville's so fired up. Jacksonville, remember, started 2-0, but early in this game, Gerard Warren.
He didn't know that was Mark Brunell.
Right. And he was fine, and Brunell hurt, and then Jacksonville lost. Close game after close game. So Brunell to Jimmy Smith, 4-yard touchdown. They missed the PAT, but it's 6-0 Jacksonville early, first drive of the game. Cleveland has done this now. This is Anthony Henry, the rookie, the one-time nickelback. He could go all the way. 97 yards, his 8th pick of the year, 4th Cleveland INT for a touchdown. The fans happy, but they wouldn't remain that way. 15-10, it's Jacksonville, minute 8 to go, 4th and 2. Tim Couch, Quincy Morgan, what appears to be a first down. Tick, 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 tick. We're going to spike the ball. And just as they try to spike the ball, well, they do it, and now Tom Coughlin's in. Well, I want intention. The buzz came.
Replay buzz prior to the snap. We'll be looking to see if the last pass was incomplete or complete.
So Butch Davis goes nuts, but the ref on the field and the replay official, after they conferred, said, yes, we did buzz it just before that play happened. So we go backward, and here's what they saw, Tom.
And if you look at that play right there, Quincy Morgan
After
never
review,
had...
the pass is incomplete. First down, Jacksonville.
Never had possession.
And that does not go well with the fans, with Butch Davis. So therefore, and this is a scene you do not ever want to see, bottles galore, other items, Walkmen thrown on the field, and then referee Terry McCauley says, that's it. With 48 seconds to go, we're fearing for our safety, and we're out of here. So it's 15-10 a final, even though theoretically there's 48 seconds left on the clock. Teams in the locker room, now here they come back out again. Call from the commissioner's office said, you play it. Shades of that Week 17 Miami at New England game last year. They knee a couple of times. The refs again being pelted. They go off. It's 15-10, and Jacksonville wins it in the final home game of the season for the Cleveland Browns. They're on the road for the last 3. Maybe that's part of the reason why the fans, look, they've had an upbeat season in Cleveland. They didn't care for it, but as we review, well, we'll talk about that in a moment. Afterwards, some of the Cleveland brass trying to put on the best face that they can.
No one got hurt, to my knowledge at least. No one got hurt. I've seen snowballs flying in New England. I've seen snowballs flying at the Meadowlands at Giants games. I've been involved in a football game where a snowball disrupted a field goal attempt that could have meant the difference in a game. So, I mean, I don't think that Cleveland's going to take a black eye over this.
It wasn't pleasant. I wouldn't suggest anything like that. But it wasn't World War III. I mean, it's a very emotional situation.
I like the fact that our fans cared that much. I have to tell you,
see anything flying
they care about their team and they cared about this game.
Yeah, they do. But both Carmen and Al know that you can't have that. Understand where the fans were coming from. And actually, and we talked to the league for quite a bit, Tom, the way that they went through it, actually, they may not have liked it. And did it really buzz or not? Yes, they said it did. That the replay official was calling for play as that spike was happening. That they followed the proper procedures all the way along the line, whether the Browns fans like it or not. I mean, it's unfortunate, but that apparently was the way it came out.
It took a while, but I think they certainly got it right in the end. The behavior, and that's my hometown. I love Cleveland, Ohio. It was horrendous behavior. It cannot be encouraged, and you certainly don't want to see a repetition of it. They are very, very passionate fans, but they have to hold that in. That's the key.
And we may find out later someone did, although we don't know of anything now, as Carmen did not, and we hope not. Jacksonville won a hard-fought game at the end, but to the chagrin of the Cleveland fans. 15-10, Jags. When we return, Colts, could they get off the schneid against Atlanta? And
NFL fans want to be.
It's been 5 straight losses for the Indianapolis Colts. Monday night was not very pretty. But if you ever want anybody not worried about, oh, boy, we're going to lay it down at Peyton Manning. And he was going against Chris Chandler, one-time draft pick. That was Ron Meyer in the 1988 Colts. Chandler was the number 3 pick. The top quarterback picked that draft. So that's the quarterback battle. Manning, Marcus Pollard over the middle, 27 yards. Same drive, another quarter. Manning, Pollard, 1 yard. 14-0 Indianapolis. Now, wait a minute. Didn't they start the year like this, Tom?
Yeah.
And then there's Dominic Rhodes. No Edgerrin James. But
yeah, Dominic Rhodes reverses field right here. Watch Adam Meadows right there with the great block to get him outside. And Dominic Rhodes, an awfully big day today.
Then the next play, Manning to Ken Dilger, and he leaps into the end zone. Touchdown. Colts lead 21-7. Peyton having fun. They get a lead. And the one-time Colt, one-time everyone, Chris Chandler to Brian Finneran. He's in again. Touchdown, 21-14. Later in the second, a wild first half, and a day when not a lot of scoring early on. This game had plenty of it. Trevor Inslee is Inslee the end zone. What a nice throw and catch.
Yeah, great job of laying out for Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning delivering it where it could be caught.
And then as Inslee's in, Inslee for the Colts, but Ashley Ambrose for the Falcons sets up a field goal, makes it 28-20, still a game until the human highlight reel. Dominic Rhodes, 35 yards. You know, he ran well Monday night. Hey, look, he's not of the stature of Edgerrin James, but he's got nice moves, got big, quick cuts, and his second touchdown of the day. You're going to like the names here, Tommy, as the Colts win it. 177 yards for Rhodes, the 3rd highest rookie total for a Colts running back. The only ones ever better in a game, Alan Amici, Lenny Moore. That's a nice list.
Yeah, 325 yards passing as well for Peyton Manning, and nice to see him bounce back psychologically.
And after Atlanta had a nice season, they have lost 3 in a row to fall out of it. Denver Broncos trying to stay in it there at Kansas City. Mike Shanahan. I think all of a sudden, after years of having the upper hand of the Chiefs, they have certainly struggled. Gus Frerotte starting as Brian Griese has a concussion, and in Gus they trust. Rolls out, touchdown. It's a 20-7. Later leaves the game with a shoulder injury. Now we're tied at 24th quarter. Trent Green, the one-time Bronco. All of a sudden, Eddie Kennison, he has a feel for the game again. He had no feel for it 5 weeks ago. Cut as a Bronco, now a Chief. But Peterson misses a 28-yard field goal, a recurring theme. Jarius Jackson in for his first NFL passes. But what happens? It's Glenn Cadrez falls on field goal, 23-20. Jackson from Notre Dame allegedly throws it 13 yards to Ron Smith. First down, Broncos. Setting up Jason Elam, 49 yards. He has no field goal problems. Good. Tied at 23-all. Dick Vermeil. Oh, my goodness. He wore his emotions on his sleeve all day. Mike Shanahan said we're going to overtime. 3rd and 18 Chiefs. Under 10 to go. Trent Green. Tommy, how many Broncos can you have here? But you're going to tell me that Kennedy had the
interference on Eric Brown, but as we take another look at it, certainly he's in a position to make the play. He's looking back at the football. You see him right there. There's a little bit of hand contact. Very, very tough call to go against the Broncos on a big play.
A huge break for Kansas City. And so now they're in a position to win it. Todd Peterson, 31 yards away. The ball is on the kick. It's up. It's good. And the Chiefs have beaten the Broncos. But wait a minute. Holding Chiefs. Dick likes the call? No. The answer is no. So now Peterson from 41-yard field goal. Try to win the game again. Peterson. And doink! It's no good. You think Dick is pleased? No. So after 3 and out for the Broncos, 6:20 to go. Chiefs in business again. Green, play action, looking for Snoop minutes. Good coverage. 56 yards, Tom, down the field. And that sets up Peterson from 32 yards out. And you really don't want to watch because he struggled. He seemed like he was kicking every time we looked up. But it's good. It's good. The Kansas City Chiefs winning at home for only the 2nd time all year. And Dick Vermeil and the Chiefs really hurting the Broncos, who fall to 7-7 with a bye this week. 26-23 in a surprise.
Yeah, certainly a surprise, but I thought you got a good game from Trent Green. This is what Dick Vermeil thought this offense would be capable of. And then the 100-plus yards from Priest Holmes on 29 carries is the key.
So maybe with the bye, all the Bronco quarterbacks will be healthy in 2 weeks when they finish up their season. when they host Oakland the next time back. When we return, Jets try to win in December, and the P-Men, could they keep it going in a tough division? Oh, those New York Jets, non-Bill Parcells years since 91, 4-27 in December. Ghosts, what ghost? Achilles Smith and the Bengals getting the start at New York against Vinny and Herm Edwards and Smith to Darnay Scott, 14 yards, and on 4th and 1, those gambling Bengals. Well, you can gamble when you get Corey Dillon, who would become the 6th back to start his first 5 years in the NFL over 1,000 yards, joining, among others, Curtis Martin and the Jets. That's a tough run for a touchdown, 7-0 Cincy, a 20-play drive. Second quarter, same score. Achilles Smith scrambling, and Victor Green and Ray Mickens, not the biggest of guys, hit him. But, you know, Achilles, we see him once every 2 months. He limps off the field, and so he's gone. Kitten is going to go in, and meanwhile, Vinny Testaverde is finding new receivers.
Yeah, we move on to action in the third quarter, and one of the things we talked about this morning was Vinny taking his shots downfield to loosen up the defense. There he goes to Kevin Swain for an 18-yard gain. Here to Swain again, but look at him stretching the football field a little bit, giving his team a little bit of room, not only to run the ball, but to open up some routes downfield.
So remember now, the Jets are trailing here 14-3. Swain, 41 straight games, XFL, Arena, and now the NFL. If anyone should be tired, it's him. That's a touchdown to James Dirt. And it's 14-9. They don't make the two-point conversion. Testaverde and Lavernius Cole shopping for 18 yards. Then, 7 minutes to go in the fourth. Testaverde rolling to Anthony Beck. Wow, between 2 or 3 defenders. And a go for 2. They don't get it, but the Jets have the lead 15-14. Under 5 to go. John Kittner. Ball sails into the hands of Damian Robinson. He picks it off, and this after a couple of others were almost picked, Tom. And then the Jets miss a field goal, though, from John Hall. So Cincy, you know, still has a chance to win it. They're just down. They can win it with a field goal. Under a minute to go, Kittner caboodles it to James Ferrier. Kittner picked off 3 times in relief of Achilles. And the Jets, not pretty, but they win in December. They go to 8-5 for Herm Edwards. And that's going to be a pretty good record when you look at it at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think when you look at the Jets, they had lost a couple of tough football games. They needed to get back on the winning track. They did that, albeit a game that they probably are not pleased with. They see room for improvement, but they won the game.
Martin with 78 yards rushing, Dillon with 85, neither at 100. They were workhorses. Meanwhile, the Patriots have been hot. Tom Brady, now that's Damon Heward said, Drew, listen to the radio station here. I don't like that. But it's Tom Brady, 8-3 as a starter for the Patriots. And watch him take this hit. Wow, hit from Nate Clements. But, oh, my darling, it's Clements' time, and he bounces up.
Find something else I love about Tom Brady every week. His toughness right here. He got up. He started clapping his hands. He was like, let's go. I'm not hurt.
You had a feeling this would be a low-scoring game, and it was. 6-3 Pats in the fourth. Alex Van Pelt to Peerless Price. They rule him out of bounds, Tom, and there's no challenge by the Bills.
Yeah, and you take a look. He's got possession. There's 1 down. There's 2 down. Should have challenged.
They didn't. They get a field goal. We're 6-all. 6 minutes to go. They get another field goal. It's 9-6 Buffalo. Brady to Terry Glenn. Did he catch it? I did. 19 yards. 2 plays later. Brady to Jermaine Wiggins. Local Boston product. 25 yards. Down to the 12. Adam Vinatieri, 4 minutes to go. 25-yard field goal. We're going to overtime, tied at 9. Bills win the toss, but punt it. Now the Patriots ball. Brady to David Patton. Keon Carpenter drills him. Fumble. Bills recover, but here's a review. Greg Williams not happy, but actually good call.
It is a fumble. David Patton's head is out of bounds. The ball is between his legs. Therefore, technically, the ball itself is out of bounds.
So the play is over.
Play is
right?
dead.
So a big break for the Patriots, and one-time Patriot, one-time Bill, now good. Antoine Smith, let's get him go. All the way down to the 3-yard line. After the Pats get the big break, they run one play to center it. Vinatieri, good. 23 yards. Notice just shaking hands like, nice job, we won the game. Good hold, good snap. And the Buffalo Bills were game. 4 of the last 5 between these two have gone to overtime. But the New England Patriots, who on Saturday host Miami in what now is going to be a battle for first place in the AFC East, win it. And Brady's a starter, 9-3, tying Babe Parilli from the AFL days as the best start ever by a Patriot quarterback to start his career.
Yeah, and we pay attention to all the numbers, but I think more important, Kurt Warner a couple of years ago, he was the story in the NFL. There is no doubt Tom Brady is the story in the NFL this year.
The Patriots on the move with the struggle in the division today in Buffalo. On Sunday Night Football, Cordell Stewart and the Steelers, first place in the AFC Central, into Baltimore to take on the champion Ravens, bottom of the hour. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have won 3 in a row. They're going into Chicago, the darlings of the Midwest, 9-3. Buccaneers 0-for-20 lifetime when it's under 40 degrees. Their last Norris Division game, home or road, the Steam saying it was 44 degrees, so not a problem with the temperature schneid. But here's a problem. Brad Johnson intercepted by Tony Parrish. Gamble for the Bucs does not pay off going deep, but Jim Miller, who only goes deep against the Bucs, to David Terrell. Nice job by the official. He's safe. He beats Dexter Jackson as Terrell. He's down to the 62-yard gain. And then Miller to Marty Booker. 3 times they hooked up in Tampa last month. First they call it complete, but
great challenge by Dick Duran on the call, and look where the official is looking. Booker, a great job of getting the left foot in, dragging the right foot. I don't know how that call initially was incomplete.
Well, it's a touchdown, Thompson. Now it's 10-3 Bears later in the second. Brad Johnson to Keyshawn Johnson. Leading receiver in the NFL trying to make it happen. Moves, shedding tacklers. Inside the 15, inside the 10. But it's a fumble. Walt Harris strips it. Tony Parrish has it. Big play in the game.
Great effort by Keyshawn Johnson and a great effort by Walt Harris sticking with the play and stripping the ball down near his own goal line.
So the Bucs had a chance to maybe tie the game, and then more Bears defense. Warwick Holdman strips Johnson to the ball. Alfonso Boone gets it. Helps the Bears to a field goal, 13-3 at the half. And then hits the A train. Rumbling for 21 yards, rookie Anthony Thomas. And then Jim Miller. Teams. Up, throw. Fred Baxter researches his way between defenders. Touchdown, 20-3, and he has the pace to prove it on his pass.
Well, it's a gutsy throw by Miller, but a better catch by Fred Baxter. You look at this. In between double coverage, great job of covering up the football, not allowing it to hit the ground.
And now at 20-3, the Bucs defense just surrenders this. Anthony Thomas, 13 yards. Warren Sapp, sideline sprain left shoulder, fourth quarter. Half point, it didn't matter. Thomas from the 5. Look at the 3 blockers in front. Man, oh man, the Bears ran for 200 yards today. 173 for Thomas. And here's the big news. For the first time since '94. The Chicago Bears are going to the playoffs. Congratulations. It's very Namath-like running off. Joe was the right hand, though, I believe. The Bears have won double digits for the first time since '91. The Bears of Dick Girard, figuring they'd play out the string of his coaching life this year. They're going to the playoffs. And Werner after the game.
The Chicago Bears improved to 10-3. Jim Miller, this Bears offense had to endure a lot of criticism the past few weeks about not being able to open up the air attack. What was the difference in this game?
Well, I just think, you know, again, as players, we got to make plays. Today we made some key plays. You know, David Terrell on the long ball. He actually had 2 long catches. So, you know, that's a lot of it. The onus is on us players. John Shoup has done a great job here. So, you know, that's the things that are going to happen, though. You're going to take criticism sometimes, but, you know, we overcame it and came out and won today.
What does it mean to this organization to be in the playoffs for the first time since 1994?
Well, I think this is huge for this organization. We've been bad for a long time, so, you know, it's exciting for this organization. It's exciting for the city of Chicago. The fans are, obviously, you can hear in a little bit of a buzz now, so it's very exciting for this town.
All right, Jim, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Chris, back to you.
All right, and congratulations, Jim Miller, and all the Bears, because, Tommy, what I almost feel that the Bucs are looking at them and saying, no, that used to be us. Yeah. Not a lot of stars, or we have a lot of good players that maybe nobody knows about. We're playing together as a team. and they open it up for the second time this year against Tampa Bay.
But when you think about the makeup of this team on a week-to-week basis, minus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, very tough football team physically, a team that loves to run the football. They're good at stopping the run, and they ask their quarterback to be fairly conservative with it and don't make huge mistakes. And today, they were able to run the ball for over 200 yards against the Buccaneers. To be a good football team, you have to be able to do those two things, run the ball and stop the run. The Bears are good at it.
4 turnovers, Tampa Bay. I know they have 3 home games left, and they play better at home. Frankly, the Bucs should be ashamed of themselves the way they played in this game. Can't turn the ball over like that in a big game on the road against the Chicago Bears and give up all those yards rushing. Bucs are now 7-6. And meanwhile, the Bears, we go inside the numbers against the Bucs this year. Both wins, as opposed to the 4 games the 2 years before that, all losses. Look at the touch. They got none in 4 games before that. Jim Miller, 5 touchdown passes against the Bucs this year. He has only 5 against the rest of the league.
Inside the Numbers is brought to you by Visa. It's everywhere NFL fans want to be.
The late game's coming up. Seattle made an interesting move. Ricky Waters not showing up. All right, here we go. The Dallas Cowboys at Seattle for the first time since '83. And guess what? They play outdoors now. The kick dome's gone, and it's raining. Mike Holmgren starting Ricky Waters at running back after really missing 2 months, as well as Sean Alexander has played, but Waters started well. You know that Waters in the rain, it's perfect. 8 yards and singing in the rain. It's 8 more yards. Hey, Ricky... Touchdown, 7-0. Seattle. Waters, 88 yards running in the first half. I guess he was well rested and ready to go.
Well, I think he does have fresh legs. He's a guy who loves to play, and he showed that today.
Jeff Feagles dropping the snap. He's throwing it to Kerry Joseph. I mean, it's so... And meanwhile, Feagles is still down on the play, Tom.
Well, he went down to get the football, and Pepe Zellner came, and the commissioner will be taking a look at that because that looks like helmet to helmet.
But no penalty on the play here. Meanwhile, Feagles is okay, and he's punting later on with the Seahawks up 10-3. Reggie Swinton. Oh, and he fumbles it in the end zone. Jamal Brooks kicks it out of the end zone. It's a safety. 2-run homer by Ichiro. 12-3 Seattle. Fourth quarter. Waters hit. And he hurt his leg here. Sprained right ankle. He wouldn't return. And so in comes Sean Alexander. Pretty good to have him off the bench, Tom. He's already gained 1,000 yards this year, the second year back. And he's in. Touchdown. He's got 12 rushing touchdowns, and he's coming off the bench. Now look, the Seattle Seahawks, who did not look good in our game on Sunday night against Denver, but they win 29-3. They're 7-6. And the big story is their remaining games are against teams all under 500. They have a good chance.
A great 1-2 punch. I think you can give Mike Holmgren a lot of credit for getting the most out of his quarterback situation. And what a great 1-2 punch with Waters and Sean Alexander.
104 Waters, 27 for Alexander. Meanwhile, in the NFC East, Washington beat Philly last month at Philadelphia. A battle, you know, it doesn't take long to drive between the two stadiums. So fans of both teams there watching Tony Banks with a 3-0 lead, hitting Rod Gardner, the rookie receiver. Makes a saving tackle and saved a touchdown, held him to a field goal, so it's only 6-0 Skids. Brian Mitchell joining He's only the third to get 20,000 all-purpose yards. Congratulations, Brian Mitchell.
Jerry Rice is number 2.
Jerry, Walter, and Brian Mitchell. Donovan McNabb to Freddie Mitchell, the rookie. And it's a 7-6 Eagle lead. Dan Eric Metcalf, great return man, but he fumbles. Carl Buckhalter picks it up, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling into the end zone. General Buckhalter, you idiot! But it's called back. What happened here?
Well, you can see that Buckhalter, as he made the recovery, he was shoulder to shoulder with Metcalf. Ball was down at that spot.
Andy Reid's arguing to no avail. Meanwhile, it's a 10-6 game. Tony Banks to Brian Westbrook. Drops it. Banks to Stephen Davis. Drops it. Settled for a field goal, and Brett Conway had a doinker early in the game off the upright. Misses this one from 48. And so the first play after missing, this is what you do like about Philly. They do go for the jugular right away. After the Skins down, it's Todd Pinkston hauling in this one from Donovan McNabb, 62 yards, and they bust open to a 17-6 lead. Skins trying to get back in it. Banks to Walter Rasby. Loses his helmet as Dawkins can hit with the best of them, but he makes the catch, Tom.
Yeah, you take another look at it here, and you see the ball right there, tip. Rasby, great job of bringing it in, and then he had to take a lick as he was down on the ground. He did walk off under his own power, though.
But 2 plays later, Dawkins, you saw him save a touchdown. That could have been a touchdown there. First he does it with the tackle, then he does it with the pick. The Eagles have good DBs, and their defense is the one that stands tall, although we should say Washington outgained him 362 to 287, but the big plays made offensively and defensively by the Philadelphia Eagles, who at 9-4 didn't clinch anything, but they have a 3-game lead with 3 to go in their division. 3-game lead on the Skins and on the Giants. So for all intents and purposes, the Eagles, a stranglehold in their division.
Well, and I think certainly when you look at that team, I think you used the right term. They made plays when they had to make them. But I think when you think about the Philadelphia Eagles and the great stretch run they made last year, it was headed by the play of their quarterback, Donovan McNabb. And I feel like he's going to have to be the guy, especially if Pinkston is hurt at the wide receiver position. He's going to have to do some of those things with his legs, use his athleticism, and make some plays for this club to get where they want to be.
Saw a lot of screen passes today.
Yeah.
My God,
and
they
we saw a
reinvented
lot of
the
drop
screen.
balls from the Redskins receivers.
Yeah, Donovan picked off a few times. But, hey, look, Philly's won 6 of their last 7.
That's correct. Can't argue
and if
with
you win a division, you get at least 1 home game, and who knows the way things are going. Philly and San Francisco, an intriguing game next Saturday out at the Stick. Very intriguing. When we return, more late games. The Pack, they're at Tennessee. And Miami and San Francisco, pair of 9-3, is hooking up out west. The champion Ravens at home, a game they've been pointing to off their bye. Into town come the first place Steelers, 10-2 at 8-4 at the bottom of the hour. Green Bay off their big win at Lambeau last week to control the NFC Norris over the Bears. Now they go to Tennessee in a subpar season for the Titans. Only 2-3 at home, but look at this. Von Kearse, Kevin Carter celebrated to safety. Amon Green stopped in the end zone, 2-0 Tennessee. Steve McNair, now he's sacked by Bonnie Holiday. It's a fumble. And the Pack recovered defense early. It's a 3-2 Packer lead. Gorman Thomas, a 3-run homer for the Brewers. Favre, 7 yards to Donald Duke in the drive. Touchdown, 10-2 Pack.
Yeah, Antonio Freeman going to run the short crossing route, going to pull Jerron Jenkins out of the middle right there. Donald Driver runs right behind him. Brett Favre delivers the ball.
Second quarter with the score now 10-8. Javon Kearse sacking Favre. Fumble! Whoop! Whoop! Believe me, Tennessee has the ball. First play after the turnover, so we like this. You know, their passing game with Dyson and Mason back, if this had been around earlier in the year, it might have been a different story. Tommy, it's a touchdown. McNair to Mason, 35 yards, 15-10 Tennessee. Then Eddie George not running well, but Skip Hicks, 22 yards. Touchdown, 2-point conversion, good. 26-13 Tennessee. 3rd and 24, Favre. So wouldn't you know it, what could possibly happen? 3rd and 24. 29 yards to Billy Schrader. Same drive, Favre, Schrader, that works. How about this? 16 yards, 26-20. Now the Pack, ball again. Favre, does he create or what? Oh my God, I'm in trouble. Bubba Franks, you good kick. Oh, Bubba. There's a completion, I guess, for minus what? No, it's now a plus. There's a play. What a play, Tommy.
Well, only Brett Favre can have this kind of fun on the field. And this is what you did in the playground as a kid. He sees he's going to be sacked. He tries to flip it to Bubba Franks. Bubba takes it off the shoulder or the back of the opponent, eventually makes a positive play out of it.
But nursing the lead, it's Skip Hicks skipping down the field. 51-yard pickup. And all of a sudden, reality sets in for Brett. Now they've fallen back out of that tie for first. They're a game behind the Bears in the Norris. And the Titans, a glimpse of what could have been, I think. A little more offense to go with some defense. I mean, we may hear from them quite a lot down the stretch. They spoil someone's season, and we may hear from them next year for sure. So 26-20, a tough loss for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, and the difference in this game, 9 carries for 9 yards. Ahman Green, he has been the setup guy for Brett Favre, wasn't there today.
McNair, 25 for 35 for 283. Now battle it 9-3 team, Steve Mariucci's team. Remember, they won 5 in a row after that tough loss to the Bears. So after the tough loss at St. Louis, how would they come out? I'll tell you how they would come out. Jay Fiedler and the Dolphins trying to throw, but it's overthrown. It's Zach Bronson. Fumbles. Lance Sergeant Schulters. I know nothing. He recovers it. I know something. I have the ball. Not the way Jay Fiedler's played so well. First interception in 4 games for him. Speaking of playing well, Garrison Hurst. 100-yard day for Garrison. 103 to be exact. There's 28 of them. 3 plays later, how would Jeff Garcia rebound after a bad hair day last week? Terrell Owens stiff arms Terry Cousin. Zach Thomas late hit. Sets up 1st and goal Niners. And on 2nd and goal, Kevin Barlow, the rookie, touchdown. 7-0 San Francisco. Jay Fiedler knows his pick. Put the Niners in business. Meanwhile, he watched Daz. Niners in business on 3rd and 11. Garcia to Hurst. They pick up 8. And on 4th and 3, Mooch goes for it. And Garcia now with confidence to Owens. Drive stays alive, 1st down. Garcia from the 12 to the rookie Eric Johnson from Dale. Touchdown, 14-0 San Francisco.
Yeah, and Zach Thomas does a great job in coverage here, a great job of working his way in front of the receiver, Johnson. But what a delivery from Jeff Garcia.
2 minutes to go in a very fast-moving half. 14-0 Niners. Ronnie Hurd providing the defense. Julian Peterson recovering the fumble of Fiedler. Niners collapse in the pocket all of a sudden.
Yeah, mistaken pass protection here. You see 2 guys outside. You got your tackle and your guard. You want to fan protect this. They both block on the interior guy. Hurd comes free, and what a hit on Jay.
Quarter, 3rd and 7, San Francisco at their own 5. Garrison Hurst. Man, what a difference he has made for this team. Dave Wannstedt says, we don't usually play defense like this. Now Garcia under pressure to Terrell Owens, and he can do this. Out-jumping Patrick Surtain, 28 yards up to the 44. Same drive, now Miami territory, 3rd and 7. Garcia, little screen to Terry Jackson, misses 1 tackle, and he's got it set up beautifully down the field, 12 yards, 1st down. So from their own 5, they go to 3rd and goal. Barlow for a touchdown. 17 play from their own 2. Yeah. 17 play, 98 yards. Took almost the whole quarter. Miami's defense, who had a breather Monday night, exhausted. San Francisco, in a game that took about 2.5 hours, a different sort of win for the Niners. They win it 21-0. Terrell Owens made some big catches. Only had 4 on the day. But the Niners, a big win. They're 10-3. Scott Walker with T.O.
They talked about themselves being physical. We just came in and matched their intensity today. And, you know, you got to give a lot of credit to our offensive line. They made some holes. And Garrison and Kevin Barlow, they took advantage of those holes and got the ball into the end zone. So,
defensively, this is your 2nd shutout in 3 games. The defense gets lost in the glow of the offense. What's been so impressive about them?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Our defense has been keeping us in some ball games. And, you know, they rise to the occasion every week. And we just got to take what they give us, you know, as far as putting up.
Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks.
Boomer, we're sending it back to you.
All right,
what a great job by the 49er defense. 10 sacks in the last 2 games, and I think certainly today you saw them beat the opposing quarterback Fiedler into submission.
And Garcia, though, the only bad news is bruised ribs. He'll know more tomorrow. A tough, short week for Miami, but San Francisco winning all sorts of ways. Who won the game ball? We'll give you all sorts of answers in a moment.
NFL 220. It's only 99 cents.
Boom, do the train thing. My game ball goes to the A train. Anthony Thomas, 173 yards, 31 carries, and a touchdown. What a day for the Bears.
And you know what, Tom? I'm going to give my game ball to Dick Duran and his staff for just hanging in and having this team play like a team. The Bears are in the playoffs. Who do you think? Well, Anthony Thomas, it was a Bears day, and we shouldn't forget Mike McMahon and the Lions.
Yes.
Way to get off the schneid for them. Thanks for your voting. Monday Night Countdown, Tommy and all the guys join Mike and Sterling and Jaws. Talk about the Rams and the Saints. If the Rams win Monday night at the Saints, both they and the Niners will be in the playoffs, which will probably happen the way those teams are playing anyway. It was a day when a lot of playoff contenders, and I include Oakland, who won a division on Saturday. Tommy, the only ones that really stood out in Week 14, Chicago and San Francisco.
Yeah, Chicago Bears, it's time-tested. We run the football. We play solid defense. We don't make mistakes. And very impressed with how physical the San Francisco 49ers were today.
They look like what the Rams were doing, winning in a different style of way. And congrats to Philly to put a stranglehold on the division. But I believe there is some football left to go.
Good game.
Very intriguing. Very interesting. For Tom Jackson, I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching NFL Primetime.
Didn't see Shakespeare in Love, Steve.
2 out of 3. For the answer, we go to Matchup, sponsored by Hyundai, and authored, as always, by the guy I go to, for all my questions, and that would be, of course, Tom Waddle. Right?
I told you earlier I do not expect the Bears to let down, but me personally, I'm mailing it in today. I really am. I spent most of yesterday and last night celebrating the Bears' return to the playoffs for the first time since 1994. So, guys, I really have no idea what you're about to see.
Professional.
Well, I guess that line on Main Street starts behind me. The Bears broke out of their offensive rut by getting open, throwing the ball better, catching the ball, and blocking the defenders across from them. Simply put, better player execution, meaning John Shoup is no longer public enemy #1 for now. Anthony Thomas should carry the load again today against a generous Redskins run defense. As for the Skins offense, despite a number of playmakers, they average just 14 points per game. Stephen Davis is the NFC's leading rusher and the focal point. When the Redskins fail to run the ball well, Tony Banks struggles mightily. Rookie wideout Rod Gardner is worth keeping an eye on. It's been a while since I've said the following. The Bears get the edge on offense. Last week, the Bears offense